I'm Mike Walker.
I'm David Patrick.
We are Dads on Books.
Dads on Books. 2 minutes later. But we are dads on books. We're addicted to books, we sit on books, and we even talk about books.
Welcome to another episode of Dads on Books. Welcome again to another episode of
Dads
on
Books. You had to get the last letter in there, did you?
I did. I always want to have the last sound.
I love it. So Flat Stanley is what we're doing here, Mike.
Flat Stanley it is.
Yes, by Jeff Brown. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes.
Pictures
I was going to
by...
go with Hefe, but there's no A.
I love it. And then pictures by
Tommy Ungerer.
Ungerer. I'm thinking Unger, and I was thinking Tommy. I don't know why.
Tommy
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Ungerer. Where's the stress on that? Ungerer.
It's all over the place. Very stressful.
Ungerer.
Now, she could be French, in which case it'd be Tommy Ungerer.
Ouais. We always default to French. It's so funny.
Parce que français, c'est très... I forgot the word. Humoreux.
Tweet.
Humorous.
Tweet.
Okay, so I loved that you recommended this book. I didn't know it was a book, and we'll get to that in a second. Why did you recommend it?
So this is a long story that I'm going to make very, very short.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Tim was telling me about this book,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, I have no clue what you're talking about. Like, are you crazy? Something about some flat kid? Like, and he's telling me about the story, and I'm like, no, I do not remember it. Fast forward to several weeks later, maybe months, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I took the older kid down to college 3 weeks ago almost now. But
mm-hmm.
Last weekend was their birthday. So we went to Wooster, Ohio to celebrate. One of the things that we all love about Worcester is that there's a used bookstore that everyone loves in my family.
Oh, that's fantastic. A used bookstore in a college town.
Yeah. Crazy, right? But it's basically 2 floors of wall-to-wall books. You can just be there for hours trying to find what you want until your family says, Dad, it's time to go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is what happened to us. So we were at the bookstore, and Ruby and I were looking for any book by Dan Gutman because, well, we'd like Dan Gutman.
Yes,
and we like to mention him because we did, I think episode 8 or 9 was his book, which I always wanted to change the name of for some reason, but it's green. It's green, it's Halloween. I'm green, it's Halloween. That's what it's called. Okay. Unlike it's Halloween, I need a spleen, or it's Halloween.
It's Halloween, I'm tired, I will lean.
Yes. Something like that.
It's Halloween,
so anyway,
I'm turning green.
I did say that right then. No?
You're awesome.
I don't know. We'll go back and listen. Anyway, so I'm looking for more of Dan's books.
Mm-hmm.
And I did come across some of them. All of the weirdest school books were all on the same shelf. But then Ruby found some other ones that were not the weirder school books somewhere else in the actual G section of children, young adult, old children. I don't know what age range it is anymore.
Childlike adults. Could it be?
There you go, because that's what we are.
Yes.
So I'm looking through, I have 7 books in my hand. And there's like this thing that looks like an old record file, like just standing up so you can flip through. And I look and I see this book.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Flat Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks fairly new. Like, I'm not sure if the dimple in it down here is my fault or, being in my backpack several times. But it was in perfect condition, really. And I picked it up and I was like, I know this book. And I remembered the pictures. So I started flipping through. I'm like, is this really? Yep. I'm totally remembering all of this now.
So now you're flashing back to the story Tim told you about.
Completely. So when we got back and we're talking about it, I'm like, okay, this is a great book because it is a book that I read as a child.
Oh.
And it is a book that somebody else sort of recommended. So it, 2 check marks.
So when Tim told you about it a few weeks ago, you didn't remember it.
I did not
from
remember
you
it
reading it
at all
until you stumbled upon an actual copy of the book at the used bookstore in Worcester, Ohio.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly even.
Now, we cut to last week when you said, quote, have you heard of Flat Stanley? End quote. And I basically said, wait, is that a book? Because in the early aughts, when my brother Michael and I, so not you, but the other Mike of my life, although he's a Michael, he's not a Mike.
That's right.
So Mike, when Michael and I were living in LA, my nephew and nieces at the time were grade school age. And I have a memory of my sister-in-law, Sheila, saying, hey, I'm going to send you and Uncle Michael a Flat Stanley. Can you take pictures of him at various LA landmarks?
Oh, that is so funny.
And this is going to happen more than once in this episode. I've done research and homework. I spoke to the aforementioned Aunt Sheila this morning.
Yep.
And she said, yes, the teachers had them read the Flat Stanley book or books. I've discovered there are more than one. And the teacher gave the kids laminated paper Flat Stanleys. And they said, mail these to friends and family in different places in the world and have them take pictures of Flat Stanley in Paris and Los Angeles. I remember trying to take a picture of Flat Stanley with the Hollywood sign in the back because
that's awesome.
Michael and I were in LA. And so she said, and there was cross-curricular geography, but also a picture of Flat Stanley on the subway, a picture of Flat Stanley in the car. And, this is 2nd or 3rd grade. And they also said, if you don't know anybody in other places, you can just do them at different locations in Dallas, like the Cotton Bowl or the Arboretum. So I remembered that. I had no idea there was a book.
That is awesome. I love it.
Mine is really old.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it has in the back, I got it at the Holy Trinity Catholic School Library. And that's where my girls go to school.
Wow.
And it has the old-fashioned library card with all the dates stamped on it.
I love it.
Yep. And it goes back as far as the mid-90s, March 3rd, 1997. That's a year before I met you, actually.
Whoa. Holy cow.
Now, the school started in 94, but this book, it says text copyright 1964. So the book is actually older than me.
Well, that is crazy. And I totally believe that because mine actually says text copyright 1964, 1972.
Okay.
Picture copyright 1974, but that doesn't really make sense. Maybe they just didn't have them copyrighted. Who knows? Anyway, so let's talk about the book. 9 minutes into the episode.
Wow. That's a record for us, but in the wrong direction.
Exactly. We've been so good about this. So it starts out the very first day that Stanley becomes flat. And I'll leave it to you to find out how that happens. But basically, it's about Stanley, who has been flattened into a very thick piece of paper, basically. And his exploits around town and in museums, catching bad guys, doing stuff that only a flat person could do.
Exactly. Oh, and they weren't bad guys, Mike. They were sneak thieves.
I was just trying to get around that so we didn't have to,
talk about it,
make some weird noise and go, burr, burr. Sneak alert, sneak alert.
Well, I have to tell you something. I just had a discovery while I was telling you about when this book was published. I I was surprised to see it was published in 1964 because I thought it was 1944.
Oh, wow.
That's important because I read the entire book thinking it was published in 1944.
I can totally see that because that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about.
Oh, very cool. Should we talk
Yeah.
about it now? Or
We should. Let's do it.
Okay. So I thought it was 1964. And
why is that?
I'm sorry, 1944. Because for two reasons. A, I thought I read 1944, but it does seem very dated.
It seems very dated. Very, very.
Yes. And it wasn't like, and then he listened to the Beatles. And I thought, wait a second, that's not 1944. It really looked and sounded like it was 1944. There was no indication that I missed it by 20 years.
I agree with you. I was sitting there looking at it going, oh my gosh, even on the first picture inside of the book, that's not Flat Stanley. It's Flat Stanley and his family in his bedroom. And you look up at the shelf and there's like a beach ball or basketball, maybe a car that totally looks like something from the 50s or 40s.
Yep.
A howitzer? Is that what that is? With a couple of army guys?
Yep. And
a toolbox. And they all look like they're super old, like 40s-ish. Yes. 40s, maybe 50s. I was thinking more 50s because the car reminds me more of a 50s car, and then the plane as well. Like, yes, that could be from World War II.
Well,
it's got a propeller.
It's definitely, here's the deal. It's definitely a World War II era plane. But if I'd been really paying attention, I would have gone, no, wait a second. Were they making model airplanes from World War II for kids to play with during World War II? Probably not.
Probably not.
But
you're correct.
And I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and I was playing with World War II stuff. And that howitzer and those two army men, the classic plastic army men, I played with. But it's still so the question is, in 1964, did they do these drawings to look more old-timey than 1964? Right. And they probably did.
Mm-hmm. As much as we could go on and on about the pictures, then I want to point out in the same way that the story sounds super old.
Totally.
It's funny because it's something about, gosh, said Arthur, Stanley's flat. As a pancake, said Mr. Lamb Chop.
Heavens, and then, I was going to say, heavens and gosh. Interjections that would not get it an R rating today.
No.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Darndest thing I've ever seen. Let's all have breakfast, Mrs. Lamb Chop said. You're with your family. Like, there's a narrator? What, a reading telling us about this? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's
just funny.
And I noticed that too. Heavens and gosh and darndest.
Darndest.
We should have a language alert thing here at the beginning of this.
Language alert.
Warning, bad
danger. Language. Robinson.
Anyway. Yeah, I loved all that stuff. And so it was really funny for me to realize, I misunderstood the date, but the book did not let me down.
So I'm going to pick out my very favoriteest part of this book. Mm-hmm. And it is part of one of the pictures or drawings, which I did love that when I picked it up, I was like, oh, this is perfect for David, because on the cover, what does it say? Pictures by. So no illustration.
I didn't have to try to say that I word.
Yes, exactly. But speaking of eyes, thanks for the lead in. You're welcome. I don't have page numbers, but
mine doesn't either.
When Stanley goes to the doctor and they're measuring him and the nurse is there, and because we've been looking at pictures so much, exactly. David is pointing out the thing that I would like to talk about, and that is that the eye has it. And if you look at the picture and you go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, Where does it end?
I
Which I thought was hilarious.
I agree. As I roll my eye. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to roll just one.
But
Anyway,
and I'll bet that was on purpose.
absolutely. That is
And
definitely an on-purpose thing.
And I wonder if Tommy
Tommy.
drew that and was thinking, I wonder if Jeff's going to figure this out. Let's find out. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
If I were an illustrator, those are the kinds of shenanigans I would do.
Shenanigans.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of your favorite parts of the book?
Yep. I mean, I like the book as a whole, but it just it seems very, very dated at this point.
It does. And I have many favorite parts, but one of them was, and again, the dated thing, which now makes me wonder, well, first of all, when they put Flat Stanley in an envelope to send him instead of having to pay for a plane ticket.
That's pretty funny.
They made him an egg salad sandwich with very thin bread and a flat cigarette case filled with milk. First of all, I'm going, okay, cigarette. That's not often mentioned in kids' books these days.
Not
a
really.
Cigarette case filled with milk? I had to look at the picture and go, wait, what?
I'm not even sure how that works, but okay. Growing up, I must have read this and thought, oh, that would be so much fun, because I thought, oh, I could do that, but I could just get in a little box. It probably wouldn't cost that much to send me somewhere.
Right, exactly.
I was tiny.
Were you really? But you weren't flat. Were you flat?
Well, sort of. I was very skinny. I think I started high school, so 9th or 10th grade, I think I was like 120 pounds. And
oh, wow.
5'10".
Oh, wow.
There's a reason a girl in my 8th grade PE class called me Toothpick, which I took as a bad thing at first, but then I realized she meant it as a term of endearment, I think.
Aw, that's so cute.
Yeah. So
I had another favorite part. Can I mention one more favorite part?
You can do whatever you want.
When they learned of the sneakery of the thieves, and I won't say more. Don't want to do spoiler alert.
Yes,
but
we don't.
The guard who's worried about this thing, he says, I fear it is hopeless, hopeless, hopeless. The triple hopeless. I thought, this is such 1944, see?
This is so Humphrey.
It is. I love that. I didn't catch that. You're right. But also, it says suddenly, because Stanley has an idea. Suddenly, as if an electric light bulb had lit up in the air above his head. And Mike, this is what I referred to earlier. I went out of character and I did research.
Uh-oh. What did you find out?
Well, I found out that the idea of the light bulb standing for an idea predates this book, even when I thought it was 1944. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, is this the source? Is this the origin of the light bulb? No, it dates back to the 1800s with Thomas Edison, etc. But I just thought it was very funny because the way they describe it as if this is this new idea they had.
I do love that picture too. The light bulb really makes it look like the light is blasting out into the dark.
Yes.
They did a really nice job with that.
It is
Good
really
job,
cool.
Tommy.
Way to go, Tomes. Hey, two things. Now that I'm looking at that picture, when I spoke to my sister-in-law, Sheila, she was trying to describe how she remembered Flat Stanley from the early aughts. And she said, yeah, he had like a striped shirt. And I was looking throughout the book and saying, well, he wears different things based on, but in this case, in the light bulb idea thing, he's got a very subtly striped shirt.
Very subtle indeed.
Yes. And it wouldn't be a lovely, lovelily illustrated book if I didn't talk about the color palette. In addition to probably black ink, Mike, tell us how many other colors there are in the entire book.
I have no idea, but I'm going to guess 2.
It's actually
3.
Yes, and there's a reason why it's 2 or 3. There's definitely red, and there's definitely green, and there are places where there's brown, but there are other places where the brown is very clearly created by blending red and green.
Yeah.
Like they intentionally, or Tommy intentionally blends the green and red to make brown. But anyway, yes, very simply colored, but still very creative and paints
very
really amazing.
creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really dug the pictures and the artwork in this. I think it was really terrific. The story could use a little updating, in my opinion. Yeah.
That being said, there is one thing that actually makes more sense now. When Flat Stanley towards the end is sad because everyone's making fun of how flat he is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, if, say, for example, I'll pull this out of the random, if someone called somebody toothpick when they were growing up, for example.
Yep.
Well, he was sad, and his mom, Mrs. Landchop, says, "Shame on them. It is wrong to dislike people for their shapes, or their religion, for that matter, or the color of their skin." The date mix-up that I got makes more sense now, because I thought, wow, how forward-thinking was that for 1944? Well, 1964, that's like right in the thick of the civil rights movement. So it makes more sense.
So that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it totally does.
Definitely.
So.
I actually saw that as well. And at some point I stopped taking notes and putting little cats in there because my little sticky notes are cats.
Are you blind when you're born? Sorry.
Oh God, not again.
I know. I like it. It's a good musical.
Okay, whatever. We'll agree to disagree. One day we'll talk about it.
Yes.
But not now. Because now I just wanted to say, as soon as you started talking about it, I was like, that's the other thing that I wanted to talk about, because I agree 100%. It's, it kind of hit me out of left field as well, that they really talked about everything: race, religion, color of skin, all
shape.
of that. So shape. So it was like, oh, very cool. So, and I inadvertently brought it up by being the toothpick, but I remember that feeling,
Yes.
So that's probably why I thought of it, or thought of that passage when I kind of sat there thinking about it for a while after I read it. And I was like, man, it's powerful. So.
Well, and one of the things that makes it powerful to me is that it's almost a throwaway line.
Yeah.
They're not banging us over the head with it, but it's in there and it's real, and it's followed with, I know, Stanley says, only maybe it's impossible for everybody to like everybody, but Mrs. Lambchop says, perhaps, but they can try.
Yes.
And that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But while we're on poignant moments, his little brother Arthur and Stanley have some really touching bonding moments towards the end. And I don't want to, I'll just leave it at that, because the way it's written, I wrote my little, I don't have cat markers in my book.
Well, you're not cool like me.
I'm such not a cool cat. But my torn to shreds Post-its, it just says, "Aw." And from a storytelling element, the younger brother is always so complainy and understandably envious of all the attention Stanley is getting.
Yep.
So it's really, really sweet to have them, kind of bond.
Yes. And it reminds me of my children. Ruby's always wanting to help out. And a lot of times she does. But I can totally see where she kind of is like, well, but I want to do the cool things you do, when she was 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. Good book.
Yeah. Good book. Totally recommend it.
Me too.
Yay.
Well, thanks again for listening to our silly little podcast.
Yes, and also may I say to everyone, all of our listeners, if you have any fun stories about either you when you were a child doing the Flat Stanley thing, or if as a parent your children did it, you can email us, and Mike, tell them how they can do that.
They can do that by emailing dadsonbooks@gmail.com.
Yes, so we do read the emails, so please email us any stories you have about Flat Stanley from over the years.
And how about this?
Okay.
If you have pictures of that, where you took pictures and sent Flat Stanley out, post them online and tag us.
I love it. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And my sister-in-law Sheila, she even said she might have some, and I said, yeah, look those, get those, find it.
Yeah. So cool. So we'll put some of ours up on our Facebook and Instagram, and hopefully other people will join in. Thanks again for listening.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time. Hear you, listen to you, talk to you.
Whatever. Bye.